Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. So you've gone through the demo program, picked out your favorite racket, thinking that that is going to be your weapon of choice from now on. I get you the new racket, and you're like, this doesn't quite feel, or it doesn't feel at all like the demo I tried. So, for example, you tried out this Clash 98, right? It's strung with, it's strung with Smart, Luxilon Smart 125 at 48 pounds. And that was what it was to start when we put this racket in demo. You tried it, you probably were, let's say, the third person to try it. And so it's probably not 48 pounds anymore, probably more like 44, 43, maybe 42 pounds. So it's probably had about, let's say, 6 to 10 hours of use. Okay, so the racket has softened up a bit, right? From holding the tension, the strings have loosened up a bit from natural play, right? Now you say, well, that's my favorite racket and that's the one I'm going to buy and I want it just like the demo. So you get a new one. You get a new Clash 98, same grip size. We put the same strings in. So 48 pounds, Smart 125, ready to go, right? When you play with it though, it won't play like this one. Now, why wouldn't it play like this one? Well, again, this has been used, right? So everything's kind of broken in a bit. The racket's a little softer, the strings are a little softer. You've pretty much resetted this to this. So now it's tighter, right? Because it's new. The racket's going to be stiffer because it's new. So basically, we're going to have to wait maybe 6 to 10 hours before it's going to feel like this. Because there's so many people that come in and say, oh, the new racket doesn't feel like the demo I used. Well, that's true, you know? So my question to them is, do you like this racket at this point? Or should I reset it back to when it was new, when the demo was new? So I make sure I ask that question. And people usually tell me, well, I kind of like it the way it is. Now, there's a slight problem with that too. Whenever we string a racket, it's always going to feel a little tighter because it's fresh. So let's say I adjust these strings instead of 48 and I make it 42 or 43, it's still gonna feel tight just because it hasn't broken in yet and the racket is stiff. But that would be probably as close as I could get to recreating the feel that the demo was. So those of you who are trying rackets, just kind of keep that in mind, that whatever you're demoing, wherever you're getting it from, is probably been used and maybe used quite a bit. There's so many instances that I've sent out a demo and the person loves the racket and the strings that's on that frame. And when I look at it, man, those strings are probably 40 pounds. It's definitely been worn in. The racket's a year old, so that's nice and soft. It's going to be super difficult to recreate all of that. In those instances, I usually ask, how much do you love the demo? And if it's like a lot, and my next question is, do you want to part with this demo, or I can sell you this demo? Because it's going to be really, really difficult for me to recreate this. I would say about 80% of the people just agree to buy the demo because they've kind of fallen in love with the feel, fallen in love with that particular racket. So it's just easier for everybody for them just to buy the demo as is. So for you guys out there trying new rackets and testing a bunch of frames with the strings in them, make sure you maybe take some notes as to what racket it was, what weight, maybe how old. Ask the people how old that racket is. Ask them what strings in there, what tension is on there, and maybe when it was strung. So I mean, I know a lot of pro shops, they don't refresh their strings as often as they should. I mean, they're super busy. I'm super busy. So it's hard to kind of gauge all that, you know. And so you guys have to kind of take the initiative and try to find this information out so that if you do love that racket, that we can try to recreate it as close as we can to that. Because any kind of new racket will feel tighter, stiffer, and maybe sometimes totally feel like a different racket. So like I said, make sure maybe take some notes, especially if you have fallen in love with a racket. So just make sure you know, keep notes, okay? So another point that my buddy Coach Rob just made is most people play better with demos in general because you're paying attention a little more. You're zoned in a little more. You're focused a little more. You have a new toy in your hand and you're in the moment. Your senses are sharper. You want to hit a good ball, right? When you put your old racket back in your hand, you're like, whatever, you know, muscle memory will take over. I could just be lazy with it and it'll be fine, you know. But anytime you got a new racket, right? I would say I do that. You put something new in my hand, new racket in my hand, I'm probably going to focus a little more just because I want to experience the feel, how it hits, how much power it has. Will it react to the same, stroke? You know, if I slice it, will it cut more? If I hit hard, will it hit the fence or hit the net or go in? If I hit a kill shot, will it stay in? Will it actually blow by the other person? I mean, all those factors that relate to demoing a racket, right? So your pro shop may not want to sell you that demo because they need the demo. So you may have to pay a premium for the demo that you want. But if you love it that much, you know, see if they'll part with it, maybe at a slight discount, if not full price, just because it'll be worth it to you. Because the store actually has to make a new demo, and it'll have to be a new one off the wall. So, I mean, I give them a slight discount, you know, 10-20%, depending on how beat up the racket is. But if you love it, you know, I would just get it, because trying to recreate something that you tried, especially with the muscle memory and the feel, that's kind of priceless there. So I would sacrifice a little bit of the money and get what you want. I'm not sure why this is the case, but for some reason, all the demos that the company send me seem to feel better than the rackets that are off the wall. I'm not sure if it's a psychological thing or something the companies do when they stamp demo on the racket, that it's either better quality control or, you know, it's some kind of magic voodoo that they put on the demos. But for some reason, those demos, for some reason, always feel better. I mean, even when I was a kid, when I picked up a Wilson that said demo on it, not for sale, right? I played well with it, and I wanted to keep it. I wanted to buy that one, even though it actually said demo on it. So I'm not sure what the companies are doing to the ones that say demo, but they seem to be better. Do you guys agree with me? Have you guys ever seen that or experienced that or played with a demo that you just can't replicate? Let me know. I'd be interested, because I can't be the only one out there that experiences this. But hey, keep demoing, find what you like. If you find a demo you like and you don't think, or nobody thinks they can replicate that, make an offer. All right? So thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.